G'day and welcome back to Motivation Inc., where we talk about money, metals and medallions. And welcome back to part 2 of a 3-part series of treasured Australian writers. This one's got Henry Lawson. He lived from 1867 to 1922. He was our famous author, poet and balladist. Along with his contemporary, Banjo Paterson, he was one of the best-known writers of the colonial period of Australia. And he's often called Australia's greatest short story writer. He had such a talent for narrative, atmosphere and humour. He was also a vocal nationalist and Republican, and his works helped popularise the Australian vernacular in fiction. And he wrote prolifically into the 1890s, but unfortunately struggled with alcoholism and mental illness, and he died in 1922 of a cerebral hemorrhage. But Lawson became the first Australian writer to be granted a state funeral, showing how prominent his writing contributed to the national identity. So let's take a look at the 3 poems that are featured here in these not intended for circulation coins. The Drover's Wife. Now this poem was all about the tyranny of living alone with 4 children as her husband was off droving or mustering cattle and sheep. They lived in the outback, and this woman was faced all of these challenges on her own, raising 4 kids, defending the house from interlopers, fire, flood, drought. And you can see in the picture here the dog's looking at a snake under the shed, and the boy's got a stick trying to hit it. She's carrying a child, little girl's next to her, another one's hiding behind her. And this is the bottom picture of her haunting look as she looks at the snake. It says on the back here, she weeps as she watches the dead snake burn, knowing that nothing has changed, that the new day heralded by a sickly dawn will be as pitiless as ever. What a challenging life it must have been for the women who followed their husbands out into the Australian outback. These tough people helped forge our nation. Not all of his stories were tragic though. Lawson was quite known for hanging out with the itinerant workers, and he had mates who were prospectors, and he enjoyed the sort of campfire stories of things that had gone awry. So this one is of the Loaded Dog. Now prospectors would have used dynamite to blow holes in hills and areas to uncover the gold or silver or whatever it was they were mining beneath that. And here's an example of the dog's picked up a TNT and he's running around thinking it's a great old time, and the prospectors are running away. So yeah, Lawson's quite clever in the way he carries it, the pace and the climax of the story. It's quite a funny story. And I definitely will reread these stories as promised in the first video. Another tragedy, The Edge of a Plane. This is about a fellow he's a swagman, he's off doing itinerant work, etc. Comes home to his wife and kids, but he's also chatting around the campfire with his mates and a dog. And this one talks about how he explains to his mate, after returning home after a long absence, it became so smothering that he broke his promise to settle down and went off to carry his swag again. So he took off. The poor wife, being stuck at home like the former lady in the Drover's Wife, stuck there looking after the place as the husband took away. Beautiful word though. He was compared to Hemingway, Lawson, with these kind of lyrics, these kind of words of prose, I guess. They turn their unshaven faces away from the shadowy timber, only to face the obscurely threatening wide, hazy distance. Just beautiful writing. Henry Lawson. Fantastic. I really like these not intended for circulation coins that the Mint has done. They've come up really nice. Let me know if you read either of those 3 stories, Edge of a Plane, Loaded Dog, or The Drover's Wife. I'm going to reread them as my promise to you all. But that's all I've got for you today. Thank you for watching, and see you later.